Okay, this is how to remove a transmission from a 2001 Chevy Corvette. It's the one with the transmission in the rear. Boom. Okay. Remove these tie rod ends, hitting side to side, side to side, giving it a good whack. Make sure you have a jack stand to support the lower control arm. Pull these out so you can have this play. Once you have play, you got the room to get up. 13, 16. That's the one we're gonna release. Once it goes all the way up, it's not gonna give you room to release it. So just leave it all the way up. And then we're gonna bang on this ball joint so it can release, and then we can remove the nut. Once that's out, we can start removing the subframe, and that'll be on the next clip. Basis. Okay guys, next step, remove the motor mount bolt nuts. It's two of them with an 18mm socket. Remove them, and then also make sure you pop out these clips that are holding these lines. Make sure you pop them out. If you can pop them out through the bottom, like so. This one here, it's another one here, or from the top with a screwdriver. You could go under it and pry it slowly without damaging the line. I say you go in the bottom better. It's less chance for you to damage that line. So do it on both sides. It's on both sides. And then after that, remove these two with an 18mm bolt. Socket. Alright guys, next thing we're doing, we're gonna remove the muffler by removing these with a 15mm swivel socket. That way you could get an angle with your gun. And we're gonna remove these. Then these. Leave this for the end. That way it doesn't fall on you. But before we do any of that, we have to remove the O2 sensors with a 7/8 wrench. If you have a O2 sensor socket, you can do it too, but I recommend the wrench better because there's almost no room for the socket. And if you don't want to damage it, then you get a good angle here with the wrench, 7/8, and you should be okay. Well, that's going to be our next step, to remove the muffler, and then we could actually start bringing down that subframe. Okay, now that we've removed them, we're going to move on to removing those. So the muffler nuts, remove those with the cat top. We will leave these to the end, and these to the end. That way it doesn't fall when I remove it. These right here, and the ones in the middle, these are gonna be for the end. If you have armor on, spray with armor on. Right now, so yeah. And then we remove these ones, and then we remove the mufflers. Boom. Set them to the side. We're gonna remove this cover. With an 8mm socket. Okay, now we remove the plate. It's over there. We remove the plate. And now it's gonna look like this. Right? That's the front of the car. It's the back. That's gonna allow you to have some movement, so you can remove those bolts on the top. Before we do all that, we're gonna have to get a stand to hold the transmission from the pan, because we're gonna remove the subframe so we can remove the transmission. We got to remove the subframe. Remember, we already removed all the ball joints. We still need to release this one, and all the harnesses and wires and all the hard lines already unclipped. Yeah, you don't have to touch none of this. This is good to go. The only thing I think we're gonna have to do is tie the rotors somewhere so they don't hang. Even though we're gonna have to jump, because we're gonna have to jump them out of the ball joint. All right, so the next thing to do is to put a stand here to hold the transmission and start removing the subframe. That's next. Okay, so you put the stand, right, like I told you, to hold the transmission, hold the weight of the transmission when we remove the subframe. Got a transmission jack to hold the subframe. And now we're gonna get ready to remove the subframe nuts. This one here, here, and that's it. And then two on the other side. Once we lose those up, then we're gonna lower this jack, taking this subframe with us and exposing the transmission. So now it's loose. Make sure you check all this for any clips that may still be clipped onto the frame, like this one. See how it's still? Make sure you get it out before we're gonna get it out before. Make sure it's cleared up. And you can lower the transmission jack so we could get the subframe off. Forgot to mention that the nuts that hold the frame are 21mm sockets with a medium-sized half-inch drive extension. Alright. Okay, now we have the subframe off, so you can see that exposes the transmission, giving you access to everything. Now what we want to do is remove the pan and drain the oil. After that, remove the axles, the transmission mount, and then start removing the electrical. That will leave. We're gonna leave the converter bolts for last. Now we can remove the transmission. The shifter cable to remove these two nuts. That one, it's a 13mm, 13mm socket with an extension and a swivel adapter. And then you can just pull it out. There you go. That's it for that. Remove on the other side the cooler lines. This one, you just press the sides and it comes out. Boom. Now we're gonna remove these two. You gotta hold the outside with a 3/4 inch wrench and loosen up the lines with a 1/2 inch wrench. That's next. Okay, now that we got the lines out, I want to make a correction. That's a 16mm and that's a 19. You hold that with a 19 and you loosen it up with a 16mm wrench. And now that it's off, you can see there's access to the bell housing bolt, the brackets. We're gonna get that to the end. Remove this cover. Gonna give you access to the converter bolts. There's 3 of them. Remove 3 converter bolts, and then lastly, but not leastly, the bell housing bolts. Bell housing bolts to the end. There it is. So you get access. Got to remove this cover right here. So you can pull the screwdriver and rotate. So you rotate. You can see it. See it moving. Rotate the converter so you can remove the converter bolts at 15 millimeters. Okay, now we're gonna go remove the bell housing bolts with 13 millimeter socket and a swivel adapter, because those have studs. Deep 13 millimeter socket, and on the other side short, and then over there deep, short and then deep. So just remove the axles by prying this, the pry bar. Just pry them out, put them to the side. Same thing on the other side. Pry it out like this. I lifted this up with the jack stand so it'll give me a little bit more room. Boom. Now to the grand finale. Remove the bell housing. This one with a 13 deep, this one with a 13 short. 13 deep. And on the other side, 13 short. And then a deep one in the top. That top one right there. No, that boy right there. Steep. And then we're done, little buddies. All right. Doing all of them. I'm ready to bring it down. The way to do it safely. Get a big screwdriver and give it that clearance. Give it clearance, pull down. And give it clearance and pull down. Clearance. Let it come down. Boom. Clear. Oh, what happened over here? We're clear. Say we're good. Make sure we clear all the lines in the back. Make sure everything's good. There's nothing holding on. There's nothing holding on. That's it. Boom. We're gonna come down now. Like, yes. Sure. Connectors up top. Here are the mufflers. Make sure nothing's getting damaged. And bring it down. Boom. Boom. There it is.